You're on there. Good morning, everybody. This is Pastor Leo. Sorry about that. I was trying to get all the events up that we have coming up. So it's good to see everybody today. Um, we do have an eventful couple weeks coming up here in Vermont. So we'll try to go through some of them, and then we have with us today Angel Piletz. Hopefully, I've got that right. So from the Central Vermont Pregnancy Services out of Barrie, Vermont. So we're excited to have her join us today. But in the meantime, I want to talk about some of the things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks and some of the important things that are going to be happening. Number one, on Friday night, which is the 20th, at the ARC, which is the Alliance Resource Center in Williston, there's going to be two special guests that are coming from the Middle East. I've met Daniel and his wife Lydia before, and they're coming with they always come with a great message. They're going to be talking about their ministry called Awaken Hearts Global, and they've been in Vermont for a while, so for the last few weeks. So I recommend going. It's called Revival Night service with Daniel and Lydia, and so that would be a great evening. Now, the other day we had Sharon and Lindsay Shefflin on, and they are hosting a conference, a day long conference in Hudson Falls, New York, and it's called Freedom from Trauma. It's a day with Sharon and Lindsay. And I've been to one of their seminars before, and it's fantastic. They bring simple tools to help you get through your trauma and keep your relationship closer to Christ. And then, and by the way, all these things can be found in the events on My Faith News. You can go right to them. And what's really great about it is if you don't know how to get there, you can even go to Google Maps. It's built into it at the bottom of the page of each event, brings you right to the event. Now, on this coming Saturday, we're going to be down in Rutland, Vermont. We're going to be at a Holy Name Chapel with Father Dwight, and we're going to be talking about the Franciscan Way. And it's special to me because it's a program that I was a part of since I was a kid in my teens. And it's a program that has helped me tremendously have a closer walk with the Lord, and I recommend it. We're going to be in Rutland. I'm going to be with Father Dwight. It'll also be live broadcasted as well. We're going to give it a shot to get that broadcasted. That's going to be at the House Center in Rutland, and it's really just learning what the Word of God teaches us about having a closer walk with Jesus. And then on the 21st as well, up in East Hardwick, Vermont, there's going to be the movie David. And they're going to be serving popcorn at Hardwick, and it's going to be at the Touch of Grace Church right on Route 16 in Hardwick, Vermont. And then on the 22nd, there's a really big celebration taking place at Kingdom Life, Vermont, which is in Williston. It's on 30 Morgan Parkway, and they're celebrating their 5-year anniversary of the ministry. And what an amazing ministry they have. So if you're not doing anything on Friday night, I would recommend being there. So also in East Montpelier, Vermont, on the I think it's the 22nd. I believe it's the 22nd. They're going to have Simply Worship, which is going to be coming up very soon. And then later today, if you're interested to learn about what's going on with Dean Braxton, I know many of you might know Dean, but we're going to have Dean on, and he's going to be ministering in Tampa. My Faith News has been doing more and more stuff in the Tampa area, and we've been working with some people in that area to help with some of his programs. He's going to be in 5 different places. We'll talk about that tonight. But just briefly, we have the program we have Lance Johnson coming into the state, which is really exciting. Lance was a part of the outpouring that took place in upstate New York in the capital region, that was last July, and that is still going on. So keep that in your prayers. He's going to be in Vermont. He's going to be at Abundant Life on the Saturday, the 28th at 9:30 in the morning, all day. It's a day of equipping and and getting people ready to carry revival in the state of Vermont. And also, he's going to be at Vibrant Church and at Ignite Church on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And if you want to find out that schedule, just go to My Faith News, go to events, and you'll see it right there. So I recommend that you do it. Anyway, we're getting ready to bring Angel Piletz on with us today. She's with the director of Central Vermont Pregnancy Services. Central Vermont Pregnancy Services is a nonprofit organization serving Barrie and the surrounding communities, offering free and confidential support for individuals and families facing unplanned or unexpected pregnancies. Through pregnancy confirmation, they have pregnancy confirmation program that they can help you with, ultrasounds, education, practical resources, and compassionate care. And we're grateful to have her with us today and to share more about that work with us that they're doing. It's an important work that's being done here in Vermont. And so without further ado, let's introduce you to Angel. There you go. Hey, Angel, how are you?
I'm doing well, Pastor Leo. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great myself. It's so glad to have you.
Thank you. It's a joy to be here.
Now, you've been, how long have you been the director now of the center?
So in March of last year, I came in as the client services manager here. And I was in that position for just a few months. And our director, who had been here for 5 years prior, she retired. And so I stepped into that position in July of 2025. Okay. So almost 8 months. Yeah.
Wow. And so now you're kind of running the show there, trying to keep it all going.
Yep, it's definitely been a year of transition for sure. We had a fully staffed office when I came in, and then within a month's period of time, we had lots of shifts and transitions. And so this past year has been a lot of time of me sitting at my desk and praying that God would fill all the positions, and he's been faithful. We have a fully staffed office again, and we've got wonderful staff here.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because I think that your services are so important for Central Vermont, because it really helps to show people that they don't have to have one alternative. They have many alternatives. And I think that's really important for us to talk about. But my curiosity is what inspired you to become the director? And I would love to hear your story.
Yeah, I would be glad to share it. I've been speaking a lot in churches lately, so it's right, it's fresh. So I can absolutely share it with you. So I think I'll tell you a story about a roundabout way of talking about this, but it's the story of a 20-year-old young woman who had just been accepted into college for what she believed was her dream career. She'd worked hard, she had plans, and her future felt wide open. But then the pandemic hit, and she was home from college in another state when she discovered that she was pregnant. The year before, her parents had moved to a new state, a place she'd never lived before and never planned to live. And now suddenly that unfamiliar place was where her life was going to be taking shape. In an instant, with a positive pregnancy test, everything changed for her. She wasn't going to be returning to her university. Her dream career was put on hold, and she would be raising a child in a state she'd never lived in. And at 20 years old, she was also facing the reality of never being back in the place that she called home. Her parents loved her, they encouraged her, and they were ready to support her. But even with all of that, there was a lot of grief that was there. The future that she felt she'd worked toward, it just felt like it was all slipping away. So she was scared. She was overwhelmed. She was heartbroken, and it felt like her life was falling apart. In that fear, a voice began to whisper, "This nightmare could all go away. You could move on with your life. Abortion might be easier." Her pregnancy was physically brutal. She was sick nearly every day for 9 months. She was exhausted in body, worn down in spirit. She felt lonely and afraid. And during this turbulent season, someone who loved her deeply went online and typed into a search bar, pro-life pregnancy center. A local center appeared and contact was made. Because it was 2020 and it was during the pandemic shutdown, the center was unable to see her in person. But what they could do was pray. And they prayed immediately. They reached out to her. They checked in often. And whenever fear surged again, the prayers continued. Every time a conversation happened that the pregnancy center was aware of, that local pregnancy center would again reach out and pray. Slowly, something began to change. Something stronger than fear began to rise in her heart. And she began to wonder if maybe, just maybe, this child was meant to be here. That perhaps God still had a plan, even in the middle of the storm. Eventually, a doctor at the pregnancy center was able to see her for an ultrasound. And there, on that screen, she saw the life that was growing inside of her. After a period of time, this girl chose life. And today, that young woman has a beautiful 5-year-old little boy. And what I want to tell you is that young woman was my daughter.
Oh.
And that little boy is my grandson.
Wow.
And I'm the one who searched for that pregnancy center. I'm the one who made those phone calls. And that local pregnancy center, the one that prayed us through the darkest moments, was Central Vermont Pregnancy Services. In fact, my grandson was the only ultrasound that was performed by our center in 2020. And I had no idea then what God was orchestrating. I had no idea that one of our darkest times, 6 years later, I would be sitting in the executive director's chair, leading the very ministry that prayed for and helped to save my grandson's life.
Oh, praise the Lord. That's awesome. Huh.
Yeah.
It's amazing how God puts things together, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And you know, we can't share a lot of things that go on here, but we can share our story. And I like to share it because it's just one of the many lives that have been touched through Central Vermont Pregnancy Services. And it's a testimony to a God who is always working quietly, faithfully, lovingly. Yeah.
Now you're seeing people like this, that, you know, not just like your daughter, but you're seeing this more often than not, correct? Maybe you can just talk about that in general, what you're seeing and what these young women are going through.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. We see all different types of situations, you know, that are here. I think that overwhelmingly what we see are women who need to know that they don't have to walk this road alone.
Yeah.
They may come in not knowing exactly what they want to do, but knowing that you have people who are there, who are going to walk beside you, who are going to not just provide resources. That's very important as well, but are going to actually ask you, what do you need? And we walk beside them, and it's different for each girl.
Yeah.
Many of them come to us weekly. They may come for resources. We also do lots of other things. We have educational classes. We sit in the classroom and we talk about pregnancy. We have classes on labor and delivery, being a father, financial classes, toddlerhood. I mean, we have over 200 classes that we offer here.
Wow.
And our goal is to empower parents, moms, dads, to be the best people that they can be, to be the best parents that they can be. And to also just let them know that you're not alone in this. A lot of people who are walking in here, that they're alone. They don't have the support. Maybe that my daughter was fortunate. She did have a lot of support. And even at that, when they have lots of support, it's still not easy to be a single parent, mother or father. And so, but many people who come don't have a lot of support at all.
And so what the pregnancy services does is it rides right alongside of you in all those stages. And are you able to help? Because I can only imagine that it's really tough for a woman. She's going through high school, or she's just finished high school. She's all alone. She's pregnant. And what is it like for looking at the rest of your life, trying to figure out where to go? And those are the kind of things that you're kind of riding alongside of them with, not only with the physical things that are going on, but also giving them advice and helping them with resources that they can ride along with, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, sometimes oftentimes they don't have a supportive partner, or they don't have a partner at all. And then, they may go to their families, and sometimes families aren't, super supportive with those things either. So, one of the things that we have here at our center, so previously, before this, I have been a life coach for 14 years. So when I stepped into the client services manager, that was what it was that I came here to do, was to help with the classes and life coaching. I've stepped back a little bit from that as I've moved into this position, but we still do offer the life coaching services. So periodically I will meet with the girls as well, and we'll kind of talk through these hard things, talk through the different things that they feel that they need to be a whole person. Sometimes we have to meet the physical material needs before we can meet anything else, but we want to be able to holistically encompass spiritual, physical, emotional, all of those things while they're here.
Can overall, can you describe the mission, of the organization, and what sets it apart from other reproductive support programs that are out there?
Yeah. So I know our mission here is pretty simple. It's no woman should ever feel she has to walk this road alone. That is our mission.
Yeah.
What sets us apart? We're a part of, there's 18 different pregnancy centers throughout New England. And so we're a part of a larger network than this. I know our latest impact report showed that in a year we served 2,072 clients amongst the 18 centers and provided $2.2 million worth of free services. The question, what sets us apart from others? I really feel that we get into the girls' lives.
Yeah.
We get into their lives and help them with things that are they're not just the resources, but they're just getting into the insides of the girls and seeing what's going to help them. We all know that there's 3 choices with pregnancy, right? And so we help the girls to be able to understand making the choice for life, that they will have the support that they need. But you know what? No matter what choice they make, we still walk beside them. We will walk beside them. And we have girls who have come to us who might have some PTSD from perhaps abortion at some point in their life.
That they already had one.
Yes. Yeah.
You're there for them as well.
Oh, absolutely. We absolutely are there we're there for everyone. We don't refer for abortion services, but we are 100% there for whatever their situation is, to encourage, support, and offer the care that they need.
Because I know when women go through an abortion, deep down inside, there's a lot of trauma that has happened to them as well. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that some girls who are going, and I want to be fair and say that this is not everyone, but I do need to say that because of what we see on our end, there are women who aren't prepared for what that's going to feel like after they have had an abortion. And a lot of times that happens later on in life after they've had other children.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen women that are that have a miscarriage, and it's the pain that they go through from that miscarriage is enormous in many cases.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I can't imagine when it was done by choice.
Yeah.
you know, how what they go through and the trauma they go through. Just so people understand, how would you describe your core philosophy, you know, of your, of care with your programs, and also what values drives your whole team? Because obviously there are values that are driving your team.
So the verse that I chose for this year was Jeremiah 29:11. That's what drives our team right there. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to give you a hope and a future, not to harm you. Why does that drive us? Well, it drives us because God's plan doesn't end in a crisis, right? So every woman who walks through the door, that's what we think of when they walk through the door. That God does plan to give us a hope and a future. We don't always know what the situations are going to be that we're going to encounter. We don't always know how they're going to turn out, but we do know that.
Yeah.
And I would say that behind everything that we do, there are some certain things that we stand firmly on, and that those are the things that guide us throughout our day.
Yeah. So when a woman calls or they make an appointment, can you maybe walk through what your key services are? That kind of and what it's like for someone to start to interact with you.
Yeah. So usually we have a 24/7 nurse chat. So if it's during our office hours, we will receive a lot of it is done through online. We will receive a form that someone is interested in having a pregnancy test or an ultrasound. If it's after hours, our nurses will let us know. And so we contact them and we set up appointments with them. We set up, preferably we set up an appointment with a pregnancy test and an ultrasound. Sometimes one of the things that we've had with staff transition was we've just hired a new nurse. And so she's completing her sonogram training right now. So for a little while, we've only been able to offer the ultrasounds in the evening, one night a month. But typically we offer them every week. So they would come in and they would, have a pregnancy test, and then they would meet with the ultrasound tech, and she would perform an ultrasound. And then we sit with them and we talk about just what they're thinking. We have forms that they fill out that just kind of give us an idea as to where they're at with this whole process. We talk to them about the different services that we offer here. We also let them know that what we can do for them. And that is typically what the first time of meeting with us looks like.
Yeah.
And then after that, many of them will follow up and come weekly for our educational day, which is where we kind of tailor a program specifically to them for whatever their situation may be on the educational day.
So you do a pregnancy test if they need one, and then you do the ultrasound. I'm curious, when they first do the ultrasound, I would imagine it must be really special to them at that moment. Maybe you could maybe describe that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's always shocking to a lot of women that you can see a heartbeat as early as 5.5 weeks. So I don't think a lot of people expect to see anything, when they're coming in early like that, but you can. And then through the progression of we only do ultrasounds up to 14 weeks here. But through the progression of that time, some of them may come back for a second ultrasound at, say, 10 weeks or 12 weeks. What you see happening from week to week is so much that they're just in awe. They're shocked at what happens and how much the baby grows during that time. The limbs, the eyes, the heart beating. There's so many things that are made out between the time of the heart flicker and 10, 12 weeks along. I think that that's the biggest thing that we hear is when they see the baby up on the screen, they're amazed. You see tears, you see all kinds of things. One, the relief of knowing everything is okay, because every one of us going into any type of a scan always, has the worst fears of everything. But seeing their baby on the screen and just being able to share that moment and being able to see life, it's very special.
Yeah. When they come in, I can only assume, but you obviously could tell us, there's a lot of conflict, I'm sure, that's going on inside them. And when that ultrasound is done, I'm sure that must really help them to make a decision or whatever. Maybe you could talk about that for a moment.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I just want to clarify is that in pregnancy centers, we have a lot of girls who come in who are coming in and they are happy to carry.
Yeah.
And then we have some that are coming in and they don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
I think that anytime that they are able to connect life on that screen, that's why we call them life affirming ultrasounds, And when somebody comes in and they're not quite so sure, a lot of times there's a high percentage that once they see that child on the screen and they see life, that their mind changes.
Yeah. Because we're not talking about, happily married young lady. We're talking about people that have broken. There's no support system. There's not a guy there that's going out and trying to make a living to take care of it, the baby and mom.
Yeah.
There's probably a sense of abandonment there in many cases. And so the pregnancy services that you provide are helping to be that support system, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. 100%. That's exactly what our whole goal and mission is. I often say we call ourselves pro-love here. That's what we call ourselves. And what that means to me is that if you are going to encourage someone to, keep their baby, and if that's the side that you stand on, it doesn't just end at the ultrasound.
Okay.
It needs to go on a lot longer than that. And that is one of the reasons why we're here, because people need support. They need support. We need support. All of us need support. But when you're in this situation here, right, we definitely want to make sure that we're providing support to these girls.
Now, are you offering also support? Not only maybe it's a younger woman that is just not even prepared for parenthood. Do you offer any adoption services or at least the resources that are available? Maybe you could talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, so we don't do a lot with adoption. We usually refer out. We do have a list of resources that deal more with that than what we do here at the center. Our main purpose is to nurture who comes to the center when they've chosen pregnancy. Yeah.
But those are things you can at least guide them in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Yeah. Because I know sometimes I'll see these shows that talk about how you wanted to meet your parents, but you didn't, and you thought your parents abandoned you, and then years later, when you finally got to meet them, you realized their story.
Yeah.
And that the Lord opened the door for you to be cared for by another family, and it made a huge impact on people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So those things are okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
People have a hard time, but that's huge to do that. So. Just pure curiosity. What's one common wrong assumption people have about the work you do?
I would say that when people walk into the center, that we are trying to push them into making decisions about certain things, and that is 100% not true.
Yeah,
that's 100% not true.
You're just providing information and ride along the services if it's there for them. They make their own decisions.
We provide the information and they make the decisions, and we love on them through it all.
Amen. which I think is great. I know you mentioned that you work with other pregnancy, services around the New England area, but how does your organization collaborate, with other community groups or health providers in Central Vermont?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I know just a few weeks ago, we had WIC here, and they were here, and they carry our information, we carry their information to give to the girls. We have different groups that recommend us, and we recommend other organizations, out to the girls, and it's just dependent upon what the need is. But knowing the resources that are available here in the Barre area is something that I actually am learning more and more about. There's quite a few of them that are available that I didn't even know about, but I'm learning more about them while I'm here. But as I learn, our client services manager right now is actually coming up with something that we can give as packets so that people have what they need. Maybe they need the food, maybe they need a food shelf that's local. Maybe they need, WIC services. Maybe they need counseling services. I know that across the street from us, there's Vermont Fatherhood. He helps men out, and he has a phenomenal nonprofit that he runs over there that really helps the guys be good dads. So
I never heard of that. That's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Amy's Armoire across from us, and we give gift certificates for that. I mean, we have quite a good network of other organizations that are here in Barre that we work back and forth with.
Yeah. So, just how are you looking for volunteers? Are you looking for people that want to jump in with you? And maybe you could talk about that and how people can integrate with your services.
Yeah. So currently right now, we do have a list of people that are interested in helping out here at the center. And that's wonderful. We love to have people that are willing to help out. We have a few different needs right now. And I would say that, as I shared with you before this, I'm going to be out of the office for a month. So some of these things are on hold, but we are working on all of that right now. And that's actually one of the missions that I've had coming in as the new director, is being able to find, there are certain areas that are really important to me. And one of them is trauma-informed care. So I know that for instance, I know that you've had her on, Misty, Nadu. We're going to be having her come in at some point. We haven't arranged it yet, but we've spoken about it, to just come in and train some of our volunteers and staff in trauma-informed care. I want these girls to be able to have somebody that they can get in touch with at any time, so that they have someone they can talk with, somebody who will take them to lunch, somebody who might be willing to give them a driving lesson. Some of them are trying to get their licenses, someone who is able to just be with them to go for coffee. Or there's so many different ways in which you could volunteer. At this present time, though, I would say that's really what I'm gathering information for, is helping out in those types of ways.
Yeah. In fact, we should mention Misty. She runs a program, just so people know, where it's called Daughters of Grace. It's part of their of a larger ministry that they're doing up there, which I think is amazing. And they're building a place for women that need to have a place called Faith Haven Ranch up in the Sheffield area of Vermont. So people know about it, that it helps. The goal of that is to help people ride along with them and help them get back on their feet, need a place to stay, and stuff like that. It's an amazing place that they're building out right now. And if you can go to My Faith News, we just wrote a story called The Daughters of Grace, and it'll tell you all about it. But I think it's really worthwhile for people to hear about. In fact, I think Misty might be on if she's. So hi, Misty. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of resources out there for people to be able to tap into. On a personal level, Angel, what would you say is the most rewarding part of this of what you do? Because
this whole thing has not been something I ever imagined that I would be doing.
Yep.
I think the most rewarding thing has been for me on a personal basis is just the way that God has opened up doors. He has opened up doors for me personally, just in the position. Weekly, there are answers to prayers all of the time. Just one thing after another, from staffing provision to financial provision. I mean, when you're part of a nonprofit, those things can turn over. But he just continues to fill in all of the gaps on so many things. And just to see joy in these girls' eyes it means so much to me. When you have somebody who's coming in who is just got a rough situation and they're just coming to you for help, and they have had the rug ripped out from underneath of them. They don't know how they're going to do this. And you can sit with them week after week and month after month, and you can see such growth happen in their lives. That's where the reward is in all of it. It's really seeing the work that God's doing in all of this in every way. And it's very faith building, and it's very humbling for me.
And I think the message has to be, right, I would imagine, and you can talk into it, that there's no mistakes in life that God can't heal.
None. Yes. None. There are no mistakes that God can't heal. And seeing that in action is just beautiful. And not just that he heals, but he redeems. And he takes the worst situations. And when God's involved, it changes everything. He redeems, and he takes people with their stories and helps, them, encourages them to help others and to tell others. And that's beautiful. It's beautiful to be a part of that.
What I think one of the things that's most amazing about that, throughout all of the scriptures, when you really boil it down to its finest common denominator, no matter what, he gave us all a free will. He allowed us to walk down our own path. But in the end, he always made a way back. So the Bible is filled with the air of reversibility.
100%. Yes.
No matter what you're going through in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, can you maybe just talk about it? Some of the bigger challenges that the center is currently facing, maybe what kind of needs you have, people can understand what's kind of going on.
Yeah. So, nonprofits are feast or famine, right? So you have months where everything is looking like it's going really well. And then all of a sudden you'll have months where you're like, oh boy, January was one of those months for us because we have a lot of extra expenses at the beginning of the year, insurances and all different, those types of things. So I would say that when it comes to what our needs are, you can go online to our website. You can donate to us as a one-time monetary gift. You can be a part of being a monthly donor. Even $20 or $30 is really helpful. When you have a lot of people who are donating $20 or $30, it really helps to keep your center running. Everything we do is donor-based. We don't accept any federal, state funding. So everything comes from our donors. And it's pretty amazing because we've been here for 33 years.
Yeah. So there's also, they can do it financially. I mean, are you also collecting like diapers and other goods? Maybe you can talk about that for a minute, or what people need, formula.
Yeah. So we do. We accept diapers, we accept wipes, we accept formula. We also have a boutique, and in the boutique we carry both clothing for little girls and little boys, it's usually up to about 2T is what we carry in our boutique. So when we have clients who come here for ultrasounds, they're also eligible for showers. And so we have showers for the girls as well.
Wow.
Sometimes we have local churches that have the showers for them. We actually just had one at Faith Community last weekend.
Okay.
And that's a beautiful expression of love as well. The churches will invite, they will host the shower for the girl and her baby, and she's allowed to invite whomever she wants to the shower. And then their church ladies also come together and they put on a luncheon and they bring gifts. And so the girls leave with lots of things that they need to start out, the beginning of life with their baby. And we also do it here at the center as well. Not everyone chooses a church shower, so we do what's called a shower in a box. Okay. And we make sure that they are also well prepared with the things that they'll need. Yeah.
That's great. So those are different ways that the community can support what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You could use all the goods, plus when you're doing showers. Excuse me. Just in a final reflection, what's the one thing that you want people that we're talking to, people are going to hear this broadcast tonight, just the one thing that, a takeaway that you want people to really get and understand about what you provide and what the services you provide for?
Yeah, I think I would just say that the biggest takeaway would be, don't be afraid to come and see us, because you're going to feel very loved when you walk through the doors, and you're going to feel very supported. And I think that that's the biggest thing. I don't want anyone to ever feel that they have to walk the pregnancy road alone or by themselves. I want them to feel like they have the support that they need, that they have a listening ear, that we actually really care about what their needs are.
Yeah, I love the way you guys work with the service and how you guys handle it and stuff. You do it with such compassion over there. I remember the former director that was there and meeting with her, so anyway, I was so glad to be able to reconnect with you, and I'm really grateful that we connected back up again.
Yeah, me too. I'm really thankful that I could be with you today and talk with you.
Yeah. So for everybody who's listening, we're going to make sure that there'll be a link to Central Vermont Pregnancy Services. So you'll be able to go and directly go right to them and find out more information. I'm sure that you could reach out and meet up with Angel if you need to. I'm sure you go right to the website to find you, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So, but I'm grateful you come. I'm grateful the people that came on today. We had actually James Kabuka. He's from Uganda. Is on right now. Probably Laura Green. I was assuming that you probably know her, right?
Yeah, Laura's one of our staff here.
Robin Romana. Dee is on from I can never say the name of his town, but they're outside of Albany. Dee, we'll have Dee here. He runs a band called Rustic Chill. I am sure we'll have him here this summer. So, which would be nice to have, Misty was on. I don't know if she's still on or not, but it was great to see Misty. Bill Richardson from Waterbury, who's a great friend of mine personally. So anyway, just to give you an idea. Anyway, it's great to have you today. I'm going to put you in the green room. There's terrible M&Ms in there. So, but I really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Anyway, that was great. I was so glad to be able to hook up with Angel and get to know her. And I encourage you to go to the website. You'll see it on the links that are going to be up in a few minutes. And make sure that you learn about it. And we talk about what you can do to help them in their mission. So anyway, as a reminder also, so Bill reminded me, yes, on the 22nd, Sunday, they're going to have Simply Worship in East Montpelier at the Cross Point Church. And also next Friday, we're going to, which is on the 27th, I believe it is. So I don't know if it's next Friday. I don't have the calendar in front of me right now. But we're going to have a lasagna dinner at the Church of the Crucified One. And that all that money goes to an orphanage that we've been working with in Kenya. We've been working with them for many, many years. And then after the lasagna dinner at 7:00 that night, there's going to be schoolhouse worship. So if you want to go out for dinner, it's a great way to support a work with orphans. And then afterwards, you come and worship with us. We have the Hope Worship team that's going to be there at our worship center here in Moortown. So I encourage you to come. That's on the 27th of this month. So anyway, thank you for joining us today, and God bless you all. Have a great day.